TraveLTelevision TraveLTelevision presents this 100th episode as a look back of some of my favorite stories.
Katrina Relief of Hancock serves the sometimes forgotten residents of the southernmost counties of Mississippi. So many people lost their homes, their businesses, schools, places of worship. All the basics of day-to-day life were literally blown away by Hurricane Katrina. Waveland and Bay St. Louis were ground zero for the hurricane. The Bay Bridge on Route 90 was the connection between these communities and the mainland, but that connection was cut off after the hurricane. A most unlikely hero surfaced and remained steadfast to the people of this community. A transported Australian opened her home to those needing shelter and has not stopped helping those in need for over 3 years since. Her project, Katrina Relief, helps those homeowners and residents throughout the county. This woman is a force to be reckoned with, and even a hurricane cannot top the power of Kathleen Johnson. We'll meet her and find out how her organization has changed the lives of volunteers and survivors in Mississippi.
The volunteers provide a variety of services here. The first thing they do is the first thing they provided was the gutting of the houses. Then we came along and we started to do the refurbishing of the houses. And now we're finding more and more that we're into new construction. And not only that, but the volunteers also fill the gaps in social services. They fill a gap in providing needs for daily maintenance of the people here, because they're so tired that we find that we are out there mowing the lawns, we're running them to doctor's appointments, we're filling in the gaps, trying to find help for them to get their cars fixed, and services that normally would be provided by the community, but the community doesn't have the infrastructure to provide that support right now. So we're running the whole gamut. If there's something wrong and you need some help and you can't afford to pay for it, then they're welcome to walk in our door and we'll try and find a solution. We don't always do the work, but we might know where that resource is. The volunteers mostly come through my website, up online, and word of mouth, because we try, when the volunteers come down here, we try to make sure that it's an experience that is a fulfilling experience and that they've worked hard and made a sincere contribution while they're here. There is no sitting around and waiting for work to come in the door when they come to volunteer with us from 8 o'clock in the morning until whenever they want to stop at night. There's work there in front of them, and they can keep working at their skill level at something that they're comfortable doing a job like this out here today. The volunteers are desperately needed, even more than they were after Katrina, and our website is reliefvolunteers.com, and if they'll go in there and look down on the left-hand side, there's a contact us button, and just give us a call and we'll be glad to get them booked in. We need unskilled and skilled volunteers both, and more importantly we need office workers and case managers that can come down here and help us write the grants so that we can get the funds to do the work like we're doing today.
Here's a trip to the library unlike any you've ever taken or ever imagined before. The Library of Congress goes virtual as it welcomes visitors to its new features and exhibits. Dubbed the Library of Congress Experience, the institution invites the public to share in its state-of-the-art technology, putting the entire collection at visitors' fingertips. The library's new experience boasts 4 exhibits and features: the art and architecture of the Thomas Jefferson Building, exploring the early Americas, creating the United States, and Thomas Jefferson's Library. So grab your library passport and follow us through the new Library of Congress.
This is the $5 Confederate bill found in Abraham Lincoln's pockets on the night that he was assassinated.
These are the founding documents for the NAACP.
This is the original yellow ribbon that was tied around the old oak tree during the Iran hostage crisis.
This is the sneeze that launched 1,000 film careers.
And you'll find them all here at the Library of Congress.
Welcome to the Library of Congress. Although the Library of Congress was originally founded in 1800 as a small research library, today it's an experience. We're here in the Jefferson Building, where you will find that it's not just a library. With great exhibits such as the collection of Bibles, you can virtually flip through the pages of the giant Bible of Mainz at the last large handwritten book, and the Gutenberg Bible, the first printed book, along with 16 other Bibles from the library. The Thomas Jefferson Library includes books from his personal collection across a vast spectrum of languages and topics. We're here with Matt Raymond, the Director of Communications for the Library of Congress, and I hear you're spearheading the advancement of technology here at the library. Could you tell us a little bit about where it's all going?
Yes, what we are surrounded by, we call the new Library of Congress experience. We have 3 wonderful exhibitions, one in particular called Creating the United States. Historian David McCullough said is the one thing you really should see in Washington, D.C.
How does this new experience change the reputation of libraries in general?
Well, libraries are dynamic places. They really are, and this is a working library. We have about 10,000 items that come into the collections here every single day. Right now we're at about 138 million items in the collections, and surprisingly to some people, I think, only about 1/4 of those are books. We have motion pictures that come in through copyright deposit. The Copyright Office is part of the Library of Congress. Manuscript division, recorded sound, geography and map, music, sheet music, the largest collection in the world. So just about any form that information can be stored in can be found here.
A place that houses more fantastic
and inspiring ideas
than any place else in the world.
There are billions of words
in hundreds of languages.
There are more recordings,
photographs, and manuscripts,
more sheet music,
cartoons,
and movies,
more treasures,
stories and inspirations
than have ever been assembled
in one location.
The Library of Congress Jefferson Building is directly across from the Capitol Building. In December 2008, the Visitor Center will open, allowing a direct path to the Jefferson Building, giving visitors an opportunity to have direct access to the Library of Congress experience.
When the Capitol Visitor Center opens up across First Street from us, there will be an underground tunnel that will connect our building with the Capitol. That's the first time that the library will be once again physically reunited, you could say, with the Congress since we moved across the street into our own building in 1897. So we're estimating that our visitorship will probably double or triple. It's about 1.4 million now. We think that'll be about 3 or 4 million after the CVC, as they call it, opens in early December.
How can the typical visitor take this experience home with them?
Well, when you come into the Library of Congress, you will be able to interact with all of these items, and you can also do it at home on the website myloc.gov. Now, what's new coming up for us in December is that we're going to have something we call a passport to knowledge. You'll come into the library and it'll have a unique barcode on it, and if there's an item that you're interested in, if there's an exhibit that you're interested in, you just dock that passport and it automatically creates a personalized website for you with all of the items in your collection online at myloc.gov based on that unique barcode.
Whether you are in Washington, D.C., at home, or in a classroom, let the Library of Congress take you on a unique and personal journey through history. Millions of items are waiting for you. Explore, discover, and be inspired.
The Library of Congress is here
for you to explore.
It's a true national treasure.
And it's one that's worth more
every time you use it.
So touch history.
Touch history. Touch history.
And let it change the way you see the world.
Well, it's really important that we're starting our mission with a church, because everything starts with the faith in your God, faith in your friends, faith in help, faith in each other.
I'm Gary Mitchell. I'm a junior at Fenwick High School, and we're all here to help out with the rebuilding of this church here. And it's been a really great experience so far, right, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of hard work, but it's really rewarding, and it's just awesome to be able to help other people when they're in need, because you never know when you're going to need help from someone else. And so just spreading our work ethic and our love and our enthusiasm to people who need hope.
was last year right after Christmas until the New Year. Last year we did drywalling. I was with my family, and I thought it was such a great experience. This year I wanted to bring it to Fenwick, my high school, and have a big group of people come down and help out. So I went to administration, and Mr. Paulette and I got this together. And we came up, there are 47 people down here. What we're doing now is we're taking off roof of houses, and we're gonna put it back together again and hopefully get the shingles up and stuff. This is a Baptist church, and I think this is very special that we're working on a church considering we're a Catholic school, and that how God has brought all of us together.
Also, New Orleans has sort of been a forgotten cause since Katrina, and we wanted to show that there's still a lot to be done and that it's not even close to being done. As you can see, there's a lot more that needs to be done.
One of the messages we want to send back is that volunteering is very much needed, and that you can always help other people out. You just have to put a little time aside and you can do it, and it's really rewarding because it's good to know that your talents and your abilities can be put to use to help other people have a better quality of life.
Hey, my name's Nick Bortolotti. I'm from Elmhurst, Illinois. My sister, who's actually on this trip somewhere else, she had the idea of coming on this work trip. My dad immediately latched on. They both looked expectantly at me, so I said, fine, okay, I'll go. And I'm actually really glad I came. It's been great so far. We're redoing all the roofs in the background, and I'm just glad I get to help out.
And anyone could do this. It's so simple, and you'll get something back, and you're also giving to people that didn't think they could do it on their own. So it's nice to.
On the day that TraveLTelevision visited to record stories of volunteers, a church celebrating its 50th anniversary came out to help others less fortunate. The sites, all in Oceanport, were homes of people who volunteered after Hurricane Sandy. Bob Cartwright has worked with the committee many months without working on his own home. This day, a few of the workers helped at Bob's house.
Today, Oceanport Cares was very fortunate to have the volunteers come from a local church, and they've gone to several of our homes here in Oceanport where the residents were out of their homes displaced by the storm. After lifting and inside repairs, they're now back in their homes to some degree and just need that extra help with finishing things around their property, moving things out of storage back into their house. And these homeowners, throughout all this recovery process, have been the same people offering their help to their neighbors. It's a real amazing phenomenon to see people like Bobby need the help, but be the first one to offer help to someone else. Core group of volunteers, Chrissy, Wendy, Chris, Buzz, they got together and thought of ways to help our town. And the wonderment of that small act of kindness on our behalf triggered people from literally as far away as Washington State and Florida to come to Oceanport on their days off for a week at a time in the hot summer. They rolled up their sleeves, they opened their hearts, brought their toolboxes and their bagged lunches, and came every day, 5 days in a row, helping tear out sheetrock, put in floor joists, put up floorboards, walls, you name it, move bushes, cut down trees. The outpouring of support from people far and wide who never even heard about Oceanport has touched so many lives here. They've truly impacted homeowners. And me, who wasn't even affected by the storm, cannot believe the outpouring of kindness and support. If you have an hour to spare or a week that people have given, it will truly be cherished and remembered for a lifetime. It puts a lot of happiness in everyone's heart to get the help and the amazing spirit of the people giving the help. You just can't imagine how truly appreciated it is. Bobby and his family suffered probably the extreme loss from the storm, and yet he was the first one there way back in October helping other people in need. So if you're willing to help, just know that the people you help are always the first person offering help for the next person. There's nothing like it, and it's truly appreciated. So thank you for all you do.
Hi, my name is Debbie Kessler. I'm the office administrator at Reformation Lutheran Church. And today, 25 members of our congregation are out working throughout Oceanport, New Jersey, trying to help our brothers and sisters put their homes back together. It's the 25th anniversary of the Evangelical Lutheran Church of America, and as part of that, we are having a God's Work, Our Hands Day of Work. Today we're here at Bob Cartwright's house working on his lawn and property, trying to put it back together in the hopes that it'll make a little bit of a difference for him. Other members of our congregation are throughout Oceanport. We're at 6 different homes putting together furniture, moving furniture back into homes for people that just finished and are just getting back into their homes 11 months after the storm. Others are also doing yard work. You know, we've been up and running since the second day after Sandy hit. Our church was blessed that we did not have any damage, and we got our power back in 2 days. 11 months later, we're still helping. We're a long-term recovery site, and Lutheran Disaster Response and Monmouth County Long-Term Recovery Group both recognize that we are here for the long haul, and the low estimate is that this is going to take 3 to 5 years. Long-term, even higher estimates are 10 years. Our volunteers today, Edie and George Jansen, who are here, lost their entire business, and their son, Thomas and Megan, who are also volunteering today, lost their home. And Thomas and Megan are still not back in their home. They're from Union Beach. And George, I think, can probably tell you better about that stuff than me.
My name is George Jansen, and I was infected pretty drastically. I'm in the boat business. I am part owner of Browns Point Marine Service, and our buildings the day after the storm hit were demolished. I did all the preparations for the storm, got back to my building the next morning, and all there was a concrete slab. For the most part, I was done. We're now digging ourselves back up from that disaster, and we're back in business, but that's what happened to me personally. My son and daughter-in-law living in Union Beach, their home was destroyed to the point where they can't live there, and they're still not living there, and they're technically going from house to house since the storm, and we're still hoping to get some progress as far as their living quarters. As far as why I'm here, basically, I understand what this storm did to the community. I understand the impact that it had on my friends and neighbors. And my church as a group got together and said, we're going to put together teams and go out and help local people that were affected by this storm. And that is why I'm here, because I realize that all of us in this community were dealt a really heavy blow, and you just need a little bit of help sometimes. And that is why I'm here, to lend a little help. New Jersey is trying to get back. There are ads out there that yes, the boardwalks are rebuilt, and yes, the pictures are pretty on the camera, but when you get down to the local neighborhoods and the people that physically live here in some of the hardest struck communities, we are not back. We are to the point where we're still trying to get people back in their homes. We're still trying to resurrect properties to the point of where they were before the storm happened, and we have a real long way to go. It feels good. I mean, those of you that are watching this, realizing, well, what can I do? Or I don't know what to do, or I can't do anything. Yes, you can, all right? Anybody that has any kind of time to devote to help people, it makes you feel good. It gets you out of your chair. It gets you out there realizing that people need help, and they're very gracious when you do come out and help. It's a good God feeling just to come out here and be part of a community and help the community get back on its feet. And, you know, this is not a 100-year storm situation. You know, we can't wait 100 years to fix this mess. We need to fix this mess now. And if you have time, if you're available, please contact someone, reach out, make the effort, and it'll be much appreciated by these homeowners, these businesses in this area.
National Civilian Community Corps, NCCC, is a national program that enrolls over 1,100 18 to 24-year-olds each year who perform 1.8 million hours of volunteer service during their 8-month residential participation. NCCC members start with an 8-week training session at one of 5 campuses across the U.S. This prepares participants to meet the national homeland security and disaster response needs. NCCC members then work for 6 months in the Gulf Coast. Many of the AmeriCorps NCCC volunteers become trainers or group leaders during their 8 months of service in the Gulf Coast.
AmeriCorps National Civilian Community Corps is an organization that brings 18 to 25-year-olds in to do community service projects, and we mainly work down in the Gulf Coast region. AmeriCorps Western Region currently has 22 teams down here in the Gulf region, and Camp Hope is where we house a lot of our NCCC members that come in to work for various projects like Habitat for Humanity.
Just that. We house volunteers for a number of other groups. Some of our partner organizations are the St. Bernard Project, the Hope Worldwide, Hands On, the New Orleans Recovery School District. We will house volunteers from any group as long as we have space. The idea is to provide an inexpensive but comfortable place for people to stay during their volunteer work weeks down here in the Gulf region.
I am Timothy Howard. I'm from Kentucky. I am a member of AmeriCorps NCCC. What kind of brought me about down here was that when I was going through high school and I was going through college, there's a lot of trouble spots in the world. And I always felt like I should do something, but because of high school and because of college and because of those responsibilities, I didn't have the time, or I didn't feel like I could dedicate as much as myself to these problem spots as I felt was needed. So after I finished college, I realized that I did not have a family yet, I didn't have any established job, and I had the time in my life to volunteer for one of these organizations. And so I did some research and found AmeriCorps NCCC, and with their 10-month program, I decided that that would be a good thing for me, help out in the United States, which I think it's important to, well, there are other problem spots in the world. I think it's important to help out at home. So I signed up for the program and trained for a month in California. And then our first project, our first of 4 projects, they sent us to Camp Hope in St. Bernard's Parish. So now I have learned how to do siding, painting interiors. Hopefully I'll get a chance to learn how to do framing and roofing soon. And I worked in the Habitat warehouse for 2 weeks, so I also learned how to work a forklift, which is my new favorite tool. And yeah, had a great time. Everybody's very, very enjoyable to work with, very pleasant, very understanding of your situation, and definitely everybody has their own story, whether it has to do with the hurricane and the locals or the volunteers who come down here and how they did it. So yeah, really happy I'm down here and looking forward to more time.
I was here in March with a music group. I was on tour, and I fell in love with New Orleans very unexpectedly. I was a senior in college in New York City, and I assumed I would stay in New York City just because that's what most people who I went to school with did, and that's what my plan had been for most of college. And so all of a sudden, here I am, March of senior year, saying I'm going to move to New Orleans. And I didn't really care what job I was doing here, so I did a very wide-ranging job search. I just looked in a variety of different fields, and to my great surprise, ended up working in construction, which is not what you usually do with a degree in musical anthropology, but that's what I'm doing with it, and I love it. I love every day of it, so it's great fun. Habitat is a really fun organization to work with, and people often say, oh, it's so good of you to give a year of your life and to give your time, but in all honesty, it doesn't feel like it's something I'm doing just for other people, because it's also definitely for myself as well, because the city is incredible and it's a really interesting place to live and to sort of spend my time when I'm young. And the people who I work with are just fantastic, and of course the volunteers are great. Everybody who comes down and just donates their time is amazing. And it's a great experience as well to be using my brain in a very different way and getting to use my body as well after 4 years of college.
Hi, my name is Mary McVeigh. I'm a member of AmeriCorps NCCC from the Western Region campus, Sacramento. I've been down here for about a month now with my team of 11 Corps members, doing some community service in the Camp Hope kitchen. We are cooking for anywhere to between 400 and 700, maybe sometimes even 800 volunteers. It's a different kind of community service. I was down here last year for about 6 months doing a variety of rebuilding and construction projects. So this is a nice change, working with the community members, for the community members, feeding them, getting to share with them, interact with them in a different way. So there's a lot of different kinds of volunteer work that can be done besides rebuilding. So come on down and check it out.
I first came down to Hattiesburg, Mississippi in May to serve as the administrative assistant for the Gulf Coast office, which is in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Jules Hampton is the director down here. And I had a wonderful experience. And then I moved on to doing a summer of service program in July, which was held at Xavier University. We brought inner city kids from New Orleans, 14 to 17-year-olds, and they learned what serving their community was all about. And we had a wonderful time. That was a month long. And I am now back as the Camp Hope support team leader to serve for a month.
One of the things that I tell our people at orientation each week is that it's important that you're here. It doesn't matter if you lift a finger while you're here. There are people down here who have had their faith in humanity restored just by the fact that volunteers are coming, that they know that someone cares for them. I spoke with a local resident here who told me that he sat on the roof of his house for 5 days waiting for someone to come and rescue him and his father and his mother, elderly father and mother. He lost his mother during that 5-day period, and he said he had lost faith in everything. But the people coming here to Camp Hope have restored his faith. So it's important that people show that they care about their fellow Americans, fellow community members in the St. Bernard Parish, Louisiana area, and give back just by being.